Good afternoon. It's January 6th, 2026, and today we had, as of 12:50, this is an update. I think it's going to stay that way, but we could create a tail on top. Here's how the daily chart looks. Strong bullish bar so far. This is the 1300 tick chart, and we had the sell off in the overnight. And I think what we did was we just tried to hit a measured move. And that's why we're going sideways now, is because we've gone a little bit beyond that. You can see this is just selling at what is uh, about the midline of this measured move. That's why we sold off here. They tried to take it lower, they failed, and it went higher. So let's take a look. All right, so in the overnight, you get this correction. Looks like a little bit of a deeper than 50% correction, and then it gets to probably about 80% right here, and then we go higher. And I don't really see anything in here that I like for scalps. Now, if you're going for a swing, um, well, I kind of like getting short in here, and it doesn't turn out to be a great move. But let's talk about why I like it. We have a break of this bull channel, and we have a lot of sideways stuff. And to me, this looks like the bulls can't really do a whole lot. So I kind of like this one, and I kind of like this one for getting short. And maybe that's good enough for a scalp. I'm not sure how much spaces there is back to the EMA. Not a whole lot. So that's that's a problem. There's really not that much space. But I wouldn't blame anyone for trying to swing this. But I'd probably get out at break even after it bounces off the EMA. And then it goes higher. And you could think, I wouldn't blame anybody for thinking, after we get a break of this bear channel here and you get a strong bull bar, I mean, yeah, we're gonna test the highs. So I don't blame anyone if that's your thinking for going long here, especially because it doesn't look like there's a convincing gap below the EMA. So I don't blame anybody for liking that, and that would have ended up being a good move. You can see there's some profit taking here, but this is a one, two, three. I mean, you could really start it here. One, two, three. 12 bar bull micro channel. So um, I do not think it's a bad idea to take profits here. However, if you don't if you don't take profits and you see this doji after, I think it makes sense to hold. Because if you get a 12 bar bull micro channel, the chances are the first break lower will fail and will go higher. So anyway, this is a nice strong move here. Um, and if you think it's off to the races and we're going for a measured move, then you have a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio. You put your risk down here and you put your reward up here. And when it goes higher, you can put your risk right there and just watch this thing run. So this is not we're not really creating body gaps here. I mean, after this one, this bar, you get one here, and you do get one here, so that's a little strong, but it doesn't look like it's going to last long. Then we get this sideways stuff. Um, Break, move to a new high, pulls back to the EMA, goes higher. I don't like this, even though that looks like a good setup on a smaller time frame. Just looks sideways to me. We still don't have a gap below the EMA, but we're closing the body gaps. So we break out here and then get a nice bear move can see the spike in channel here. And then, so I think, for people who think that this is not going to be an up day, I think this and, whoops, sheesh. I think getting short in here is okay. Uh, More so here because we have confirmation of this. Um, and so you do get a steep move down here. Break, move to a new low. And the bulls say not so fast. They bring it back into this zone. And so again, this is this is the point where you have 1-to-1 risk reward. So any, if you buy here, your reward is greater than your risk, and the probability is just lower. And if you sell here, you know, I just think in the greater context, you're above the EMA on the daily chart. It's probably better to buy. So you have to think about that too. But anyway, let's get back to this intraday stuff. So this kind of looks like a failure. I think you can go for it here. Unfortunately, you don't get a swing, but I think that's a very reasonable. You have this channel break, move to a new low. Very reasonable place to take that failure. We get like a channel here. It's coming up short of the trend line here, depending on how you draw it. So look at this textbook failure. So what we have here is this massive sell climax. And then you get a failed second entry short. That's a textbook setup. Not only you can definitely swing this. It's also a second entry long. Yeah, look at that. That's great risk reward. That's basically 1-to-1 if you're swinging it, and the setup is just great because that's a sell climax. As soon as we close that gap, there's a bunch of trap shorts, and look at that thing go. I'm gonna draw it like this. You could probably draw it steeper. And that's a strong move up right here. Then we start to go sideways, and what you notice here is that we pulled back to the EMA. We couldn't gap below it. You can see we can't gap below it here either, and we make a higher low. So you could jump in here, and that really brings us to the end of the day. So that's all I got for you today. I'll be back tomorrow.